Hi YouTube, this is Colin once again, here to do another rebuttal to Sean, aka venomfangx, regarding his video, Is the Bible Inspired by God? Quickly now, because I only had 10 minutes. He first quotes Isaiah chapter 40 verse 22, and he's using the KJV. And he talks about that the verse says that the God is above the earth and that it's a sphere. I have my KJV. It doesn't say the word sphere. It says circle, circular. And then in the other contemporary versions of the Bible that I use, as you see in my other videos, it says that God's above the earth. It doesn't even describe its shape. So again, it's a whole translation issue between the different versions of the Bible. And then I asked the question: does it actually say that the heavens, in other words, you said the universe is expanding? Well, in the contemporary English versions, it says the sky is expanded across the top of the earth. So again, that's your interpretation, and you're welcome to that. But I'm here for facts. So, and then yeah, was Christopher Columbus the first one to sail the ocean blue? Anyway, all right, and then you said Job chapter 26 verse 7. This is kind of humorous. Again, you mentioned that this is an amazing verse because it talks about the earth being suspended in space. I agree. That's a great, interesting fact. But then you make a really, really humorous comment. You say that this was written during a time when the Jews believed that the earth was flat, which that's fine. Most cultures did until about the 15th century AD. Fair enough. But then you say that the Jews believed that this flat Earth was resting on the back of two elephants. I have a Jewish friend. I've talked to Jews on belief.net.com, and they think that's the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard of in their lives. The ancient Jews did not believe that the Earth was flat and rested on the back of two elephants. They say this is a Hindu myth or an invention of the sci-fi fantasy author Terry Pratchett. All rights reserved. So I think you're mixing up fact from fiction. And then you say you say that science can prove the Bible's existence by arcdiscovery.com. I went to that website, and it was created by a self-proclaimed archaeologist named Ron Wyatt, or Watt, W-Y-A-T-T. I did some background research by using Wikipedia and other places, and a website entitled www.isitso.org/guide/Wyatt, W-Y-A-T-T.html, and they say that the Israeli antiquities in Israel and even the Seventh-day Adventists and other scholars of archaeology say that he's a fraud. He's a liar. He's not reliable. So you're trying to prove to your viewers and myself and whoever else cares that the Bible was inspired by God, that science can prove that the Bible is inspired by God by quoting a very weak and unreliable, fraudulent source. I don't think that's very reliable, Sean. I'm sorry. I just really don't think so. And then I agree with you. You say that, Jesus, no one wrote Jesus as a fictional character. We have proof. I agree with you. We have Josephus, Tacitus, these other historians that say Jesus was crucified. Fair enough. They weren't there. They weren't eyewitnesses, but fair enough. So we can agree that he was a historical figure. That's fine. I agree with you on that. And then you say, did Jesus try and fulfill these prophecies on his own? Well, as I've proven with my first video, or first three videos, I should say, that a lot of these prophecies were just sort of attached to the Gospels. They said that Jesus said this in fulfillment of this, or did this in fulfillment of this. So I don't think Jesus was walking around, he had a list of these prophecies, and he said to himself, today I can fulfill this, this, and this. No, 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 no. After he lived, died, went to heaven, whatever you want to believe in, the gospel authors said he did this in fulfillment of this by taking a lot of the verses completely out of context, as I just proved. And then you show your website. I also have a website. It's called, it's biblia.com/jesusbible/prophecies.html. And this is another old prophecy database that shows which prophecies Jesus fulfilled. And I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but I encourage you, when you read these Old Testament prophecies, to do as I've done, look in the context, because they have on their main page of this website, there's 50 prophecies that Jesus supposedly fulfilled, 50 prophecies of the Hebrew Bible. I went through, looked in the context, all 50 I refuted. All 50. These do not prove that Jesus is the Messiah. So again, this is also a problem. And so then you mentioned that he said that he would split the Mount of Olives in two, and that if he should be God because you said there's satellite images that there's a fault line underneath the Mount of Olives. Please show your proof. Don't just tell us these things. Show us where you're getting this information from, please. I would like to believe you. Maybe Jesus had X-ray vision. Who knows? He was a prophet of God. Maybe he could do those sort of things. But just because he knew these things ahead of time doesn't mean he's just God. And then you mentioned that there are some prophecies in Genesis regarding Ishmael and his descendants, the Arabs, would be a numerous people and a violent people. I looked in Genesis, and all the places where Ishmael is mentioned, there's no such prophecy that his descendants would be a wild race of violent people. It says they would be 12 nations in great nations, and it doesn't talk about the violence. So please show me where you're getting this. You didn't even quote where you got this from in Genesis. So please show me where you're getting this from. And then you mentioned Islam, violent of peace, you said, and then, it's a violent religion because the Pope Benedict said a really dumb statement and then they got all pissed off. Well, you seem to be under the impression that all Muslims are Arabs because you equated Ishmael's Arab race with Islam. I don't know if you know this, but Indonesia has the highest population of Muslims. They're not Arab. I just think that I'm not trying to insult you, but I think that you have a really one-way look at these sort of things. It's like, okay, all Muslims are violent. That's where you stand. I mean, prove me that I'm wrong. But I've seen your other videos. You said that Islam's from Satan. I mean, come on. I mean, this is like, what are we living in, the days of the Inquisition? You sound like someone from the Crusades. These infidels. We're gonna kill them in the name of Jesus Christ. I mean, come on. Pope Benedict even admitted he made peace with the Imam in the Blue Mosque in Turkey. There's a picture of them praying together. Anyway, Sean, once again, show us your sources. And the sources you have showed us are very weak. I don't mean to insult you, but anyone can do this research and see that your resources are very vague and not really credible. Anyway, this is all I have to say to you, Sean. Thank you, and good night. Good night, YouTube.